Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, we were too busy chatting, having a nice chat off air to realise that the countdown had counted down. So Andrew is joining me again, and we are so grateful to be joined by Ignacy, who I'm sure for many people does not need an introduction, a well-known figure in board gaming. So Ignacy, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, especially on a Saturday, which I'm guessing would normally be a day off for you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No worries.
And not just a well-known figure in board gaming, you also do quite a lot of board game media as well, don't you? I know you do a podcast with Stronghold Games.
I'm overactive. I really love what I'm doing. I love board games. So yes, I have a vlog, I have a podcast, I have a blog. Yes, I'm living my life dream. That is board games, and designing board games is not enough for me. So overactive for sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could even continue. Andrew, you were talking about the blog specifically before. I don't know
yeah, it was, because I know I do try and follow along a lot of the publishers that I like and the work, and it's interesting to hear their view on the industry. And I know you made a really interesting blog post around the impact of the cult of the new and how that impacts game designers as well as publishers. I'd love to hear if you've got any thoughts that now follow on a few months down the line, and if the whole COVID situation has maybe impacted your thoughts on cult of the new and what it means.
It's very difficult for us designers, especially when you spend a year or like 2 years designing your beloved design, and it goes to the market, it gathers great reviews, everybody's excited, and month later nobody cares because it's this new hype and new call of the new game. It's so disappointing for the designer. So on the designer point of view, it's really terrible times these days to see, even because if you design a poor game, whatever, but if you design the game that everybody loves, as excited, and yet it is forgotten very quickly because the new games are on the shelves, that this is very, very painful. For the publishers, of course, we have to adjust to the situation. As we were prepared for the marketing 4 years, the game like Puerto Rico, 4 years on the top one spot on Board Game Geek, right? Twilight Struggle, and all these names were for months and years popular. And now it's just like bam, 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 and you have to have a new game. So it is very difficult to adjust to the situation, the whole concept, how we release the expansions. It may be the situation, and we, as a Portal Games, we experienced this very sad situation. Like when you are releasing an expansion for the game, but it is 6 months later, nobody cares for this game anymore, right? Because it's so many new games. So the whole plan for expansions and supporting the title has to be adjusted to the situation. So we are all learning. The hobby is still young. Let's face it. Like it's still quite a new hobby, quite a new industry. So we are all learning. For me, as we just said, I'm living this passion. I'm living this dream. So for me, it is so frustrating that I designed this game, I published this, but nobody cares anymore because it's new things. Today in the morning at our online convention on Facebook, I was posting about the Cry Havoc, how crazy it is with the Cry Havoc. I see in the background, and I was posting about this just today. 2016 game of the Gen Con, best game of the year, top 10s, Tom Vassell, everybody's raving about the game. Who remembers about the Cry Havoc today, right? Yeah. So we as a publishers, we as an industry, we must accept the situation. But for us as a people, as a humans who love these games, I would love people to play this game today and enjoy it as much as they enjoyed it this 4 years ago, because nothing changed. It is still amazing game. If you like StarCraft, if you like fighting dudes on the map, killing each other, Moloch, like robots, it's still amazing, right? Yeah. Nothing changed. What changed? New titles came, yes, and you lose attention. So it's very difficult. We are all learning how to cope with this.
Yeah, it's and I think Cry Havoc is a really interesting case because it did something that not many games did at the time and haven't done since with the asymmetrical play. And then actually, I've seen a few people kind of talking a bit more about it again recently as people have started, as asymmetric play as a thing has got more popular. I've seen people kind of going, oh well, there was this game Cry Havoc like a few years ago, like
4 years ago, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it was really interesting.
And that's interesting, isn't it? That again, apologies to people on Facebook. We were talking before we came online, so I'm trying not to make it a continuation of that conversation. But you did mention, Mark, that Ignacy quite often resurfaces some of the games to give them new life. Is that a deliberate attempt to counter some of this culture than new, or do you just find new and interesting ways to make those titles interesting?
Yeah, so it all starts quite accidentally. So there was no big plan at the very beginning. It's the fact that I am a designer, and when I design a game and when I publish it, like 6 months later, as you can expect, I look at this design and say, I could do it better. Like I have these better ideas right now, and I can fix this and that. And of course, a few months later, I have this new prototype that is so much better based on the previous one. So that's why everybody makes fun of me, and I accept it. I know that I deserve it, but I designed a game called 51st State. And then I did Imperial Settlers, and last year we did Empires of the North, and everybody is making fun. Ignacy designed one game and sell it in 3 different boxes. But and you can look at this in that way, right? But on my side, it is like I'm still tweaking. That design is never over. Like you're still tweaking and finding new ideas. I played Underwater Cities, amazing Euro game. I found interesting concepts there, and I stole them to use in this new version of this whole 51st State engine. So on one hand, it is me never stopping tweaking the system. On the other hand, what we said in the interview earlier, for me, when the Imperial Settlers, I see the box behind you, the Imperial Settlers once again released 2014. So this is like 6 years ago. It is an old game in today's environment. It was for me a great chance to relaunch the idea, to relaunch the brand, to say, hey, for all the fans who loved this game back then and want something new, let's discuss it. Let's put it in part of the North. So the same system tweaked a little bit with some new ideas, things that I learned over the years, things I get feedback from the fans, what I can improve, what I can change to make the game shorter, more intense, more diverse, and I put it on the market. And now people are playing Empires of the North, and many of them never heard about Imperial Settlers, right? Yeah. But for me, it was a chance to put a new, shiny game that, on one hand, matches the demand of the market for the cult of the new, and the other hand, use the design that I'm proud of, and I love it, and I can tweak it once again and once again. So I'm not saying it openly, but it may be a case that in 2 years there will be a 4th game in this line, and I will be relaunching this once again, because yes, I'm still tweaking, still having fun with this design. I love it, of course.
I love Imperial Settlers is one of my favourite all-time games. I love it so much, and I said I almost got everything, although you gave me a sneaky peek of something that I definitely don't have, which is which I will definitely have as soon as I can have it, although it looks like I might need a bigger box. Maybe, have you considered selling a big empty box to fit everything in? Wow, look at that.
So the big box, fun enough. This weekend we are closing pre-orders. So for the past two months we had the pre-orders for the storage box, the big box for Imperial Settlers that stores everything, and it's like a huge box with a plastic insert that store all the expansions, all the promos, everything. Has extended rule book, so it makes all these expansions the one big rule book.
That's really cool.
Again, cool. So you don't have these 5 rule books, but now everything in one rule book. And this weekend we are closing this pre-order, so if everybody is interested and looking for this interview, you can pre-order it. But yes, this is like all this content over these 6 years. This is like a big number of cards that we designed.
Yeah, it's really cool.
A ton of work. I love it.
I think my favorite factions maybe Atlanteans. I think I really like those guys because they're so different.
For me, Aztecs. Aztecs, because I love deck building. I love Dominion. I love Eon's End. I love all these games. So Aztecs, when you deck build your faction, that I love it.
Yeah. No, it's a very cool game. It's really good. And Darius in the chat is just saying thank you for the roll and write. He's had a lot of fun with the roll and write Imperial Settlers. And
so with the roll and write, I was. So 2 days ago we released the app version of our roll and write.
Yeah.
And this is and I'm playing it like crazy for the past 2 days. It's addictive. It's like roll and write, but I will explain why. I designed this game. It was released the last UK Game Expo, so it was last UK Game Expo. It was the release of roll and write, but I designed the whole engine of the game, the whole mechanism. But all the boards, and there is 48 different boards in the game that you can play with the different abilities, different buildings, cool stuff. All these boards were designed by my developer, Janaki Janka. So I never play tested them. I was never tired of them. I never hated them. So now when the app is released, I have all these amazing boards that I actually never, when you play test the game, you are tired of this. Like you are playing and over and over, and you hate it. But this was done by Ignacy Trzewiczek, so I have the game that I designed the rules, so I love these rules because they're awesome because I designed them, and I have a content I never saw in my life, right?
That's cool.
So I'm playing like crazy my own game. I'm so happy, and this is like dream come true. Like I'm playing my game and I love it.
That's awesome.
But of course, in all seriousness, great reviews so far of these 2 days on our Facebook. We have a Facebook group for our fans when they chat. And this is like everybody is posting the scores and making fun of me because I cannot beat them. I'm far behind because there's a rating. I'm far behind everybody. So they have an additional value of making fun of the designer of the game. Quite nice and fun launch of the app. So I'm very happy.
Oh, that sounds very cool. Yeah, Francisco's saying that he's really appreciated the free sheets that you've been putting up for.
Yeah, with the free sheets we did for each convention that we were visiting last year, starting with UK Game Expo. We were designing a special dedicated board for this game, and it was as a free PDF for the fans to celebrate these conventions. It was UK Game Expo board, it was Gen Con board, it was Essen board, etc., etc. And it was all these buildings dedicated to this country. Once again, kudos to my team for Ignacy Trzewiczek who did it. And great joy for me because I can play it. This is fun.
Yeah, awesome. And then Darius is just asking. So you mentioned the storage box for all the Imperial Settlers, but he was asking about a big box, a bit like Queen Games used to do, with just everything in.
Yes, we are not planning this right now. Maybe in the future, we never know. But as for now, as far as I know, there was the deal on our web store, but I'm not the salesperson, so I'm not sure. But I think there was a offer that if you buy the storage box, you were able to buy all this expansion with a discount. So it was basically big box-ish solution. But you have to investigate by yourself. I don't know. I just know as a marketing person for the company that I know that we are closing pre-orders this weekend. So I was supposed to put some tweets about this, so I know what I'm tweeting about.
Well, I'll definitely be going looking for that after this. I've got the website. Is up on the screen here, portalgames.pl/en. There's also, you very generously set up a page for this convention with some discount offers and things like that. You can see that bit.ly link on here, or just search through the group. You'll find, I think you've just hashtagged Portal Games, and you'll find the post there where you can get the direct link. And then obviously one of your kind of more recent hits, Detective, has been just going down really, really well. And I've got some things to show people here. So maybe you just want to tell us a bit about that, because it's just such an interesting game.
With Detective, of course, it was a blast last year. We won the Game of the Year in France. We were nominated for Kenner Spiel des Jahres, which is like, it's not even dream come true. Like it was not my dream to be, in the ceremony for Spiel des Jahres. It was out of my dreams. Like it was absolutely crazy. The game released in many languages, huge prices. It was amazing. But what happened this year, and that's interesting. The whole COVID situation. Everybody's closed in homes. We cannot meet each other. We cannot talk with each other. These very difficult times. And what we see in the Antares website, because we have access to the Antares website, so we see the statistics. The plays of the game goes up like crazy, because the Detective, which is a storytelling game, you are solving the crime. This is a text, you are reading what happened, like many of you played Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. There's something like that, but with a modern twist and few tweaks. So one player has this box in front of him, he's reading aloud the text, and you guys are just listening to me, right? Reading, and then we discuss what happened, what we should do, who is a suspect, etc., etc. And we saw in the statistics in March and April, people were playing this game like crazy. And the number of emails we received as a company from the people who said, in these very dark times when everybody was, confused, scared, like we all felt weird, I would say, at least, right?
Yeah.
Them connecting with gaming group or friends through the Skype and just having these 2 hours of, not thinking about the problems, but just playing Detective was amazing. And the number of emails we received, it was super nice. It was so much added value to just the pleasure of having a successful game, sell a ton of boxes, earn some money, earn some hours, like all this jazz is regular. But here it was like a absolutely non-expected value of just getting this feedback from the people who in these dark times were able to interact with their friends and have some great game night. So we put out a free case for everybody so they can download the case. It is like a PDF file with all the cards, with the hyperlinks. You can browse it very, very easily. There's one page with the introduction, and there's one page that all these tokens that you use in the game, we change them in a roller right, that you are just crossing them out. So you don't even have to use scissors to prepare this token. No, you just, I'm spending the token, I'm crossing out it, right? So you need to print the 2 pages of the, as I said, introduction and these tokens. You have a PDF of the cards and you can play. And we see in the database the people are playing, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy that
it's very cool.
We are giving something nice and cool for the people. That's very important.
Yeah. And that's been one we see on the group. A lot of questions around games and remote gaming, and that's been one of the most asked. And it's great that those titles exist.
So this is a storytelling game. We just need to discuss. Yes, one of the person reads what you found at the crime scene. You read aloud what was the transcripts of the questioning of the witness, and then we all together discuss. I think he was lying. I think he was true. And we just play, we discuss. It's a story-driven game, and in these very difficult times, it made a splash, and it made a positive splash through the community. We are very, very happy. Polish edition sold out. English edition last copies. So in terms of the business, it was very good for us as well. But as I said, it was much more than just a business. It was knowing that we are giving some additional value for the people.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And I've noticed as well another trend is obviously like a few years ago there was the blending of thematic games and Euro games, and you kind of got those kind of hybrid games. And now there seems to be a new bunch of games that are going the other way, where they're kind of blending board games with RPGs, and you kind of get these somewhere in between, where it is some elements of storytelling but still some familiar mechanisms for board gamers. And I think it's great.
For me, it's a great times. The Portal Games was founded in 1999, so many years, more than 20 years ago, and I was debuting and starting this company as a role-playing games company. We were publishing the magazine about role-playing games. We were publishing role-playing games. I'm designer of few role-playing games. It's only in Polish, of course, because of the cost of the translation would kill me. But first half of my professional career, was doing role-playing games. Then I discovered board games. Then I became a known designer of the board games with the Robinson Crusoe, with Imperial Settlers. And now, the whole circle is back, and I'm writing stories. I'm designing plots. Mm-hmm. But I found a way to communicate the board games community, and this is not role-playing game, but this is something that is very, very close to my heart and my roots of my career.
Yeah, that's really cool. A friend of mine around the corner, actually, they kind of asked me, I don't know, you guys probably get similar questions as when people know that you're into board gaming. When they have the time that they need a board game, you get loads of texts from them going, help me with this. And their wife doesn't really like competitive games, so they got themselves, they had played Pandemic and a couple of those games, and then they texted me the other day and said, I've just got Robinson Crusoe. I was like, man, you've leveled up there, going...
Yeah.
Steep curve, right?
But they're having a great time with it.
But once again, getting feedback, because it's very interesting to read emails from the fans, and you would not believe how many people who just play the game feel that they want to communicate with the publisher and send us email that is nice, or sometimes they complain, but every single day somebody from this whole planet sends us email. This is very cool to read them and what you guys say. And there is many people who said, my wife doesn't play board games, but she loves crime stories. She watches crime TV shows on Netflix, and I somehow convinced her to try Detective, and it was a bluff, because Detective is basically interactive novel, right?
Yeah.
You're just reading a novel, we are reading crime story, but you have some decisions to make to do. So I am responsible for bringing few wives to the board gaming. Kudos to Ignacy, but on a serious note, once again, I am aware and I'm very proud that some people had this amazing game night, and wives and husbands and maybe children and friends drinking wine and solving the case and having this 2 hours experience, and it makes me super proud of the work I'm doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Darius is just saying he's about to play it later, Robinson Crusoe, and then someone, Gary, is asking if you're done with Robinson Crusoe or if you have any future plans for it. I guess you're never done with any game, but
Yeah, of course, we are not. This weekend, once again, we are closing a contest because it was still end of the May, a contest for the scenario for the Robinson Crusoe, and out of these scenarios that were submitted for the contest, and out of the scenarios that we are designing in-house, we are going to release the Book of Adventures, and this will be like a very thick book with the different scenarios. We want them to be like a book that you have a scenario for every occasion. You want to play with the kids. Easy scenarios. You want to play with your hardcore gamers to be dead in 5 rounds, we have you covered. We will have a difficult scenarios, and you will be having the index, and all these scenarios will be divided by the science fiction, fantasy, or modern. Difficult, easy, medium for many players, or just a solo. And you are just picking what you want to play this particular evening. And you're okay. For solo play, short, very hard. Okay, submarine one. You play on the submarine, right? So that was the idea for the contest. As I said, the contest ends tomorrow, and then we gather all these entries, and we pick the best. We add our own scenarios, and this is the Book of Adventures. It will be on Kickstarter later this year, or maybe because of the COVID situation, maybe earlier next year. We'll see. Yeah, so Robinson Crusoe, absolutely. I'm not finishing this line. I love this line. I'm very proud of this. Let me just blow mind of everybody. This is like a real Robinson Crusoe. Very old. Like, I am a really fan of this novel. I really love the story. So this is my artifact at home, original Robinson Crusoe from 19th century. So I know this game because I know the novel and I love the novel, so I will support this. Like, and I will not do, but Julius Verne, the whole shelf here with all these novels from Julius Verne. So I love this genre of you big adventurers, and you're on this island, you have adventures. I love it, so we will support this line for a long time.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear.
Brilliant. That's good news, yeah.
Like, I could talk to you for ages, but we'll wrap it up there, because I know Chris and Martin, I think, are about to go live on the Games Expo Twitch channel, so we'll make sure there's plenty of people to go and support them. But Ignacy, thank you so much for taking the time out, especially
Absolutely.
on a Saturday. Everyone, get yourself over to the links below, or find Ignacy's posts in the group, and go and grab yourself a bargain of some very excellent games. Thank you again.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Ignacy.
type Trzewiczek in Google, and you find my vlog, my blog, my podcast. Like, you will find everything. Like, too much in the internet. I'm aware of that, and I don't care. I love what I'm doing. Like, I love board gaming. I love talking about the board games. I love interacting with the fans. So, if I may mention one more thing,
Of course.
we are doing a PortalCon online. So there's a convention that is like yours convention online. We will use YouTube as a platform. So if you go to portalcon.pl, you will find all the dates, and hours. And so if you are enjoying this convention in July, there's PortalCon. There's more Ignacy in the internet.
Oh,
Beware.
definitely. And in July, you said that
Excellent.
It's the 11th and 12th July, and we plan to have about 20 hours of live stream with the gameplays, contests,
Awesome.
fooling around with the fans. So lots of fun stuff.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Excellent.
See you
Thank you,
soon.
Ignacy.
Thank you.